what about bloating? Can that help with bloating?
Oh, so I will share this with you. So I am a recovered anorexic and I'm also a recovered bulimic. And I try to stay away. I totally stay away from any, nutritional advice to people. So I always go to the mechanical side of things. I listen to nutritional advice, but I never engage in that conversation because I'm just not an expert on it. And I'm not good with managing other people's nutritional or their body shape expectations.
Right.
But bloating is extremely uncomfortable and it's really problematic for a lot of the tissues that I love to talk about, namely the respiratory diaphragm. So when there is excess gas in your viscera, your diaphragm, which lives inside of your rib cage, has a really hard time descending. It has a really hard time moving and bouncing your viscera up and down, which would maybe make it more helpful to move gas along. Yeah. Is to have this wonderful rhythm, right? The gas, the pressure is just rising and rising. It's making your diaphragm rise up. And if your diaphragm can't descend and then return to its place, it's really hard to be in a calm state. In Body by Breath, I talk about 3 zones of respiration. And in zone 1 respiration, we're breathing in a way that our diaphragm descends, our organs distend cooperatively, our pelvic floor distends, our lumbar region, the fascia of the lumbar called the thoracolumbar aponeurosis. We have this 360 expansion. And then all of that funnels right back in when the diaphragm goes back home into its rib cage. So we have this wonderful collaborative thing. And that is one of our easiest ways to know that we're in a calm state. Calm state breathing happens in zone 1. If I'm not in zone 1 because I have pressure within my organs that aren't allowing the diaphragm to descend, I default into what's called zone 2 breathing. In zone 2 breathing, I'm relying on my intercostals. These are muscles that line the ribs. If you've ever eaten ribs, you've eaten intercostals, as well as the diaphragm to move the ribs up and down as I breathe. Now, zone 2 breathing is not illegal. You use this when you're running. You use this when you're pushing weights. You need this when you're moving a sofa across the floor, right? We have to brace our core. We have to brace our abdomen. We have to stiffen our abdomen and our back so that we don't injure our low back or our pelvis. So we have to breathe somewhere. We breathe in zone 2. But if you're breathing in zone 2 all the time, because you're bloated or because you have scar tissue in your abdomen that doesn't allow your diaphragm to descend, or maybe you breathe in zone 2 all the time because you want to look skinny, so you're pulling your abdomen in, it's going to create a overall more sympathetic tone in your body. You're going to be more upregulated. You're going to be more hyped. You're going to be more agitated. And then what often happens in zone 2 is if we're chronically in zone 2 because we're bloated, we're going to stay bloated because we're not entering into our rest and digest. We can't get into the calm state. And then that will often throw us into what I call zone 3 breathing, which is our in case of emergency breathing. And that's when breathing happens with face, neck, shoulder, jaw, where you'll end up. Yes, you'll heave, you'll hoist air into the upper portion of your airway. And we do this in the case of shock or fright or fear, or it's not always diabolical. You also do this in orgasm. You'll have these sudden rapturous breaths, but it's usually very short-lived. And so this is very high stress. So if we're in a blend of kind of zone 3, zone 2 breathing, it's very difficult to then have healthy digestion because we are literally running the car. It's out of gas, but it's still running. I mean, you're full of gas.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
The
right.
analogy
Literally
didn't work.
Yeah. So how do we fix that? I think there are so many women, let me just put this, so many women that complain about bloating during their perimenopause. So that logic of what you just explained, I feel like every woman is like, yep, that's me. How do we fix it?
Yes. So I wanted to go through that so that I can then talk you through an application. So if you don't have something like a Coregeous ball, you don't need a Coregeous ball. You can use a pillow. You can use a rolled up yoga mat. And what I would do is lay yourself on your side, lay specifically on your left side, and place an object that's comfortable. So whatever object you use, it shouldn't be hard. It shouldn't feel like you're punching yourself with an object. So a gentle thing, if you're just starting off with this, a pillow is great. And actually let your abdomen rest on it. I have an exercise in the book called Gut Baby, Mindy.
Oh,
so
perfect.
I can send you a photo of Gut Baby so you can see what I'm talking about. And allow the organs, which are gassy and having difficulty contracting well, the smooth muscle, actually let the organs rest on the ball or let it rest on the object. And then you take your top hand. So you picture yourself, you're laying on your side, probably have something underneath your head so that your head is supported. And then it's like pregnant belly, you allow these organs to traction away from their roots. Their root is in the mesentery. So this gets into some anatomy, but all the blood that serves your intestines is like a giant stalk in the back of your abdomen. And so what we're doing is we're tractioning these organs away, letting the vasculature have some stretch. We're stretching loads of fascia, by the way. We're stretching loads of muscle. All your core muscles are being stretched here. And then you just want to very quietly breathe into the gut. You want to try to allow the diaphragm to descend and relax. So it's just a very slow meditation. And then you take your top hand and rest it on your top side of your abdomen. And you just keep coaxing the abs out. Now, I know it seems crazy. Like, wait, I'm going to try to get rid of the bloat. I'm going to squish the gas out. I want to press in. No. Actually allow the gesture to complete. Allow fluff to come in. So you're essentially fluffing the organs. That is going to allow stretch to come into the colon, into the small intestine, allow the smooth muscle to then come back online because we're getting our zone 1 breath in there. And that's when your smooth muscles within the organs will start to contract, will start to move stuff along. You start on your left side so you can let the gas that's stuck along the sigmoid colon get out first. Otherwise, you'll have even more visceral pain. And after about 3 to 5 minutes, then you can switch to the other side and you'll start to hear the bergorrhea. You'll hear like those whale sounds in the gut as gas is starting to move along finally from where it's been congested within your organs.
So, and what kind of breathing technique? Should we do the in for like 4, out for 6? Like, should the exhale be longer than the inhale to just kind of calm the nervous system?
If you're able to do that. So sometimes a paced breath. So as I mentioned before, pace of breath is really critical, longer exhales than inhales in general. But the introduction of this pressure into the gut and this sort of this odd traction of the gut can be so discombobulating for some that sometimes I'll just tell people, just watch your body breathe. Watch your body breathe. Don't try to control it because we're trying to control everything, right?
Right.
Just let your body breathe. And then within a few minutes, what happens typically to those people is all of a sudden they'll yawn. They'll have an involuntary sigh, just all of a sudden they'll have a state shift. And that's when you can then start pacing out the breath. So sometimes I just want the body to be, all the feels are welcome here. My body thinks and feels. My breath is home. My organs are home. And not try to over control them. Just let them rest on the ball and be with them. Yeah.
Okay, so just so I'm clear, you roll up a yoga mat or a pillow. You're starting on your left side. You're laying on your left side. You're letting your abdomen just kind of hang. Like you said, what'd you call it? The gut baby. Where's the ball? Where's the ball? Is the ball?
I'm going to show you the picture in the book.
Oh, it's in the book. So okay, great. So that because there.
Oh, listen. You know what? I have this online. I have a free video of gut baby. Look at that. I have amazing. A QR code. So can you see how ball, how my abs are kind of like loaded on there?
Okay. So you're using the pressure of the mechanoreceptors of the fascia of the gut, which actually is really interesting. You have me thinking now because bloating, I've always thought of as for the perimenopause and menopausal woman it's a trouble clearing estrogen. It's like, really for the woman who still has a cycle, it's often that post-ovulation bloat because the body can't clear the estrogen. But then now you're really giving me insight on how to use mechanoreceptors to tap into this estrogen system. So, I hope every woman who still has a cycle, one real important place you would use this would be post-ovulation, don't you think?
Yes. And one of the other things that I want to make sure that your listeners know is that your organs are comprised of collagen. right? So these are fascial structures too, right? Our organs are surrounded by fascia, but I'm sorry, I had turned this off, but it's coming in. The motility slowing is also due to elastic changes throughout your body. The fascia is not just where the collagen is. The collagen, fascia is a structure that comprises your colon and your small intestines too. So we have these collagen changes and estrogen changes all over. Interesting. Really interesting.